Jason Beck and Bryce Underwood are about to do some damage. They are. Take a look at what Bryce Underwood was able to do as a true freshman. Take a look at what Jason Beck has done basically since he started coaching in 2009. I'm going to demonstrate to you why I'm right about this. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Jason Beck, offense coordinator at Michigan, and Bryce Underwood, quarterback at Michigan, are about to do some damage in the Big Ten and beyond? Because I do. I've been really mulling this one over, writing down the different parts of this segment for a little while now because Michigan fans feel some kind of way about me. God knows why. But I'm looking at this, and one of the shrewdest things that Kyle Whittingham did was bring Jason Beck over from Utah to coach Bryce Underwood at Michigan. Now, you already know who Bryce Underwood is, but just in case you forgot, former number 1 overall recruit, 2025 recruiting class, wins the starting job as a true freshman out of camp, is already a better quarterback than anything they put behind center the previous year, is devastating running the football, and has a cannon for an arm. The only question is, can you get him the kind of receivers that he deserves? And can you get him the kind of running game that can make Michigan feared once again? There are a lot of things that I will say Jim Harbaugh, Sharon Moore, that era of Michigan football did wrong. One of them was not running the football. They ran the football so terribly well that they didn't really need a quarterback to beat Ohio State in 2024, which is the same year that Ohio State won the national championship. And yet and still, Jason Beck might put together a better rushing season in 2026 than you saw from Michigan when they ain't have no damn quarterback in 2024. Now, we can go on about the years of Hassan Haskins. We can go on about the years of Blake Corum. We can talk about the really deep offensive line that Michigan had in 2023. But what I would rather do is talk about Jason Beck. Because Jason Beck started coaching quarterbacks in 2009 at Weber State. And he has coached quarterbacks everywhere he has been ever since. I'm talking about Simon Fraser. I'm talking about BYU. I'm talking about Syracuse. I'm talking about Virginia, New Mexico, obviously Utah. But the first time he actually got to be a play caller was actually for Dino Babers at Syracuse. Garrett Schrader was his quarterback. And I'm like, oh, I remember that team. Garrett Schrader wasn't that good. And then you go look at it. He threw for 1,600 yards, also rushed for 400. Hello. It's Garrett Schrader, who is famous for the helicopter spin, but not a whole hell of a lot else, right? It's Garrett Schrader. Then New Mexico, where Jason Beck sees he has a bona fide star in his quarterback in Devin Dampier. So what, pray tell, did Devin Dampier do in 2023? He threw for 2,800 yards. He rushed for 1,100 yards. He was the truth. He was the truth. He was so damn good. And then, he gets to BYU, gets to Utah, and he is one of 5 quarterbacks who threw for 2,800 yards and rushed for 800 yards. In fact, Devin Dampier has been the guy that people believe John Mateer was going to be at Oklahoma. Hello. Couple this with Devin Dampier was not the most devastating part of Utah's offense. I mean, not for nothing, but when Bird Ficklin had to start, you could see what the most devastating part of Utah's offense is. Yes, it uses the quarterback run game, and it will continue to at Michigan. But what they do is run over people. What they do is run through people. What they do is rush for 300 a game. You can do almost anything you want offensively, defensively, if you can run the football for 300 yards a game. The schemes are there. With Kyle Whittingham as the head coach, you know the offensive lineman, and for that matter, the defensive lineman, will be there. And anybody who gets to play tailback in that scheme is going to have one hell of a good time. Because at any point, you are part of at least a two-headed monster, if not three. Because everybody has to fear the plus one, the extra man, the quarterback. And in the case at Michigan, he's also the best friggin' athlete on the football field in probably 11 out of 12 games. Just is. Now, couple that with the fact that we've not yet seen what Jason Beck or Kyle Whittingham can do with a premier Power 4 team that has the resources to not just compete for the Big Ten championship, but for the national championship. Then you take into account that this is just who Jason Beck has been everywhere he goes. He looks for a guy that can throw it 50 yards and a guy that can run by people in the 40, and then he goes to work. When I look at Bryce Underwood, I don't see a guy that lacks tools. I see a guy that lacks finish, and he probably will this year too. He probably will not be finished product until his junior year, maybe even midway through that year, which again is going to do damage because he doesn't have to have it all to be great. That's scary. If you're playing against them, that's scary because he's going to get better. I mean, this is how people have to look at Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. He ain't what he's going to be. He's only getting better. Now you've supercharged that if you are the University of Michigan with this hire. A guy that played quarterback at BYU and a guy that has developed quarterbacks at several levels of college football to get to a moment like this so he could coach a player like that. It would not surprise me to find out that Bryce Underwood becomes the first 3,000, 1,000 guy in Michigan history. He's got that ability. But now he's got the kind of offense that might allow him to do that too. One of the things I give Kyle Whittingham credit for is opening up the offense at Utah. Recognizing that he's going to have to do that if he wants to compete. It's the same thing Nick Saban had to do a decade ago. But this is what he's doing now. This is what it's going to be. I can't wait to see what this offense looks like with Bryce Underwood running it. Because I think he's just as good and then some better than Devin Dampier. If you give him the tools to have the kind of presence to see the coverage, manipulate the coverage, and then throw the ball to the guy he knows is butt naked open. Yeah, that's bad news for almost everybody they play. So if you haven't bought stock in this partnership that is Jason Beck and Bryce Underwood, I'm going to ask you, maybe go see your broker and say, hey, add this one to the mutual fund, all right? And we're going to be aggressive on this one. My goodness. It's been so long since I had fun watching Michigan air the ball out, and the idea of them being able to air the ball out and still run the ball on people. Like, I never felt like J.J. McCarthy showed us everything he had because he didn't have to. He didn't have to. This team, this Michigan team might be different. They might have to let Bryce Underwood, as Biff Poggi said, be Batman out there. And if they got to let him be Batman out there, you think Diego Pavia was fun to watch last year? Dog. It's about to get filthy. It's about to get nasty. I am giddy about it because I see the scheme and I see the player. And I would just be in the whiteboard just imagining stuff and say, okay, we're running this now. Sorry, Central Michigan, it's your turn. You're going to catch these hands. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. It really is. Giddy about it.